Uh,
Like and subscribe. This is the Nightly Fix presented by Foolish Club Media. As I said, please head to our YouTube channel, Foolish Club Media. Like and subscribe. Please follow us on Twitter. Check us out everywhere on social media. If you do not do so,
what you gonna do?
You will never be allowed to listen to Sam Cooke for the rest of your life.
Damn. If you ever change your mind.
Yeah, change
the mind. Leaving me behind.
Yeah.
Oh, bring it to me.
Yeah, change is going to be coming off that damn Sam Cooke is what's going to be happening if you don't go and like and subscribe. So shout out. By the way, I'm enjoying a ranch water, Steve. There it is right there. We've talked about it. There it is. A little ranch water.
Medela.
Yeah.
I like Medela.
I like you. I like to say, I like this little band. I really enjoy you guys.
I thought you were going to say I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
I do. I'm more of a breast man, but I like where you guys. Enjoy it. I enjoy it. And
that's cool because I hate you
so much right now. I hate
you so much right now. I hate you. Man, was that Kia? That was Kia, right? No, not Kia. That was that was Nas's wife.
Yeah, when they bought that house so they could just fuck as loud as they wanted to. You remember that, Steve? You remember when Milkshakes and Nas bought that house? Why am I blanking on her name and just keep calling her by her songs? Don't look it up, Osita. That's cheating. Don't look it up.
Milkshake. Tyler the Creator really loves that album.
God, there's gonna be a winner. Don't look it up. Don't look it up.
Brings all the boys to the yard, girl.
Yeah. Khalees. I got it. Woo!
What was the name that was coming to your mind? Because Blue Cantrell continued to flow through mine.
I kept thinking Kia, My Neck, My Back.
Oh, My Neck, My Back, Kia. That's not a bad one.
I didn't have a name, but I can picture the music video.
Well, she still is on social and makes some interesting videos. Fun videos for those. But no, it's a good time tonight. Hey, the Strokes. That
oh yeah.
The Strokes.
I almost forgot.
We'll do.
I meant to listen to some Strokes this week to like prepare for this because I haven't listened to Strokes in a long time and I totally forgot.
So I will give my music review. The Strokes. What's the name of that album? This Is It. Is This It? Excuse me.
It? Yeah.
It almost led me to believe and I'll do this on the show right now. It almost led me to suggest that this be a damn near a pod by itself, like the music pod by itself, because I had a lot of thoughts on the last one, and I had some thoughts, on this one big time that I'll give, but no, it was really interesting because it led me to watching multiple extra things on them. documentary.
Did you see the documentary? The one about the bathroom. Meet Me in the Bathroom.
I heard them speaking about it on another one I watched. I probably watched about 3 or 4 things.
Meet Me in the Bathroom's cool, man. Like it's like so like all the bands that kind of came out around that time, like the early 2000s kind of indie rock revival, a lot of them, I wouldn't say they stemmed from the Strokes, but the Strokes were like the biggest band at that time. And then because they were so big, they gave way to a lot of other bands getting really, really big around that time and hitting the festival circuit, doing world tours, all that shit. And so there was like obvious like jealousy from some people, and there were other people like.
Hold on, we will get to it. Boy, you're revved up. I got a lot. I will give a hint on my.
I know music.
I'll give a hint. Jagged Edge. That's a hint on my feelings. I know that's an odd combo, and that's a tease right there. Jagged Edge was something that I jotted down in my thoughts to have a conversation about this was, by the way, it has to be one of the best debut albums of all time from an artist, but I'll get to it. Yes, Jagged Edge just came to mind. I jotted that down. And it was good, but we'll get to that a little bit later on as we do our my music review.
Yeah, you said doo-doo.
I do. Yeah, as we do our music review. But today to me was an interesting day. You know how I am a believer in this. These things come in threes. You know, I was texting you guys this. Yep, it happens in threes. What earlier in the week, Theo Huxtable, aka Malcolm Jamal Warner, aka Theo Huxtable, passed away. And then Ozzy Osbourne passed away. And I always say they come in threes. Who's the third? And the third was Terry Bollea, but known to the world as Hulk Hogan. By the way, I know Hulk Hogan is a clear person that you two all know, right? You can close your eyes and you know who Hulk Hogan is, correct?
Yeah, brother.
There you go. Yeah, brother. You got something to it.
I've seen Rocky 3.
There you go. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think.
The first thing that comes to mind when I think of Hulk Hogan is the Three Ninjas.
Is it
High Noon at Mega Mountain?
Yeah, he's in High Noon.
Sugar Lips and Three Ninjas, not Andre the Giant, Body Slam, not NWO, not Ultimate Warrior, not Macho Man, not the Mega Powers, none of that.
Nope.
I was a wrestling fan when I was a child. I just grew up. I know Hulk Hogan.
How he grew up.
How around the horn? How would you describe the feel of Hulk Hogan?
I think he's an icon. Who anybody who idolized him as a child is probably disappointed by the real life person over the last 15 years or so.
Yeah.
You seem to be. What are you not? You're a fan of him? You like some of what?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh no, not at all.
Okay. You started laughing like I'm trying to.
Well, because I thought it was funny. I was like, look, man, like respect for the dead, of course. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gone, so I never want to talk ill of him, of anyone who's died. But he was wild. He was a wild man. He did some fucked up, crazy shit. Not even fucked up shit. I mean, no, he's just he's not the character that we thought he was, you know?
Yeah, I would say complicated. He's got a complicated kind of a history. It's like multiple parts to it. Like it is the wrestling angle of it when he first got onto the scene in the 80s. And if you grew up in the 80s or 90s, like Hulk Hogan was the shit. And then
when he turned heel, like I still remember that. Like I watched WCW at the time. Like, like an iconic wrestling moment.
It's an iconic, and he was the first big star to cross. Like he he was the first thing that has led us to Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, The Undertaker, to The Rock, to Stone Cold Steve Austin, to John Cena, to Seth Rollins, to Cody Rhodes today, to Roman Reigns. He's led us to me. I believe it to me that I believe there are.
Yeah, brother.
There it is. Is this the one you had to get? You had to get the one
Yeah, brother.
at the
Trump.
I didn't even realize. I didn't even. That was the first one I saw, and I was like, "Yeah, it's good." I didn't even realize what it was.
But yeah, brother.
That's hilarious.
But I think it's interesting that both of these men are very, very complicated, right? I think you could describe everything that Osita and Serda described about Hulk Hogan. You could describe about the other guy. I think there are two guys.
Who's the other guy? Wait, are we talking about Ozzy?
No, I'll get to it. There are two guys to me that you kind of jumped in. There are two guys to me that are the biggest reasons why professional wrestling, or as they call it, sports entertainment, is the way it is and how big it is right now. It's him and it's Vince McMahon. Those are the two biggest reasons that wrestling has turned into this, right? Vince is obviously number one. He's the architect of all of this shit and kind of started all of this stuff to make this a global thing in what it is today. But the number one star that pushed this over the top to where he's in Rocky 3, or he's in Three Ninjas, or he's in all the movies and all the stuff he did. And he became, somebody said it, and I had to think about it. They were like, man, in the late 80s and early 90s, you could argue from a sports perspective, the three most famous people were Mike Tyson, Hulk Hogan, and Michael Jordan. Those were the three from any kind of a sport athletic thing. Those were the three most popular people in sports in the world that could go anywhere in the world and be recognized and known. And I think those two guys, and it's kind of interesting because both of those guys are complicated. Both of those guys have things. But I will say, to me, when I saw Hogan pass away, as you said, respect for the dead. But I think one of the first things that came to my mind was, this is a great example of seeing how life and the world has changed. And I do think it is for the better. Because if this was 10, 15 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, we would not know anything of the real Hulk Hogan or Terry Bollea. All of this stuff where, as you said, man, it turned out, man, he was kind of a bad dude. There is no way that he would be protected. There's no way that, and I'm talking from 2000s, 2010s, he would be protected. That tape of him going off and talking about when he said, hell, man, if my daughter's going to date, an N-word, it better be one of the rich ones. That tape would have been hidden and would have been covered up, and he would have been protected, right? But now, to me, we're in a space where there ain't no protection, and people just come out and show you who they are. And I think it's good. And I think we would have been going about not knowing the real Hulk Hogan, and this would have been celebrating a great man, a man that is so beloved, and there'd be tears in the street. And there are some tears for some people. But for the most part, we know that this probably wasn't a good dude. And the stories that we've heard, people in the business don't protect him. People talk about, even from a wrestling standpoint, how he would control things and hold younger dudes down and hold dudes down from making money and advancing in the sport because of his power, because he was upholding himself. Like there's a real portion of Hulk Hogan that he is a how can I say it? Piece of shit.
Asshole.
I was thinking piece of shit. I think like, but this is a person and an individual that would have been protected. We would not have known this about him. We would not have known this. And I am glad that we now, for the most part, see the real. I don't think guys are protected anymore. And I think it's for the good. And like you said, respect for the dead, but I just don't view Hulk Hogan the same way that I did when I was 6, when I was 10, when I was 15, when I was 18, and he was NWO. I don't, and I am fine with it because I'd rather know the real dude that he is.
I mean, there is something to be said for I mean, he was an actor, you know, for what, like, his career, you know, he was an actor. He was playing this all-American hero, this person, this everyman, this literally this Hulk of a man or whatever.
Eat your vitamins and say your prayers. Yeah, he was playing it.
Yeah, but you know, you never really, and this is why I don't trust actors, you know. You never know who they are, like who they really are, you know. And I think, like he said, it is interesting that we live in such an era that, you know, now the internet can put you on blast really quickly and you can find out the truth about somebody really, really fast. And I'd like to take the time out to say that everything I say on the show, just a joke. So just in case anybody's watching at home and they think that I'm super serious, I'm not, except for the Caitlyn stuff. I really do love Caitlyn Clark, and I would love to have her in my life and me be in her life. But, you know, that's just
that. Listen, yeah, he's an actor. There's a part of it though, like, and some of them are actors, but a lot of people in that industry are themselves kind of turned up. Like it does. I get what you're saying, acting, but especially in the 80s and 90s, it didn't, like, wrestlers didn't feel as much. I don't know, Serda. It feels different than Tom Hanks playing a role. It feels different.
No, but it was because if it wasn't for the age that we live in now, you would still just totally think of him as the guy that you saw on TV. Like, and he grew up, like, for people who are wrestling fans, and I was a huge wrestling fan. Like, I remember how devastating it was when he turned heel for the first time. Like, it was a monumental moment in wrestling, and it still gets talked about to this day as, you know, this like devastating, iconic heel turn, because he was always the good guy. And then when he did go back to being a good guy, it was another big thing. Like, he was the guy in wrestling. Like, I don't know that wrestling winds up being what it is today without him. And so that's why it sucks that he wound up being such a bad guy in real life, because, but like, also at the same time, like, there's plenty of other wrestlers that have, you know, maybe we liked when we were watching them in the ring and on TV, but then in real life, we found out, like, maybe they weren't the greatest of guys. It was just that he was the guy. He was that guy that got everyone into it when you were a kid. And it wasn't just like our generation. It was my brother, who's 13 years older than me. Like, Hulk Hogan's the reason he was into wrestling. Like, and he got me into wrestling. Like he's just iconic. He's just a flat out, like, icon in sports entertainment.
I'm not going to say that Hogan was your hero, one of your heroes. I don't know. Maybe when you were younger, it kind of was. But do you want to know this about your heroes? Like, do you want to know?
Yeah.
Like, I can't think. I don't know. Whoever it is for you, who is the person that you really look up to? I'm trying to. I don't know whoever that is. What whatever that famous person is that you really look up to. I'm not saying
that's alive.
Yeah, or whoever. Like for me, we have a lot of fun. I don't look up to him, but I mean, LeBron is somebody that I really respect. That I think is a good dude, and it's one of the reasons why I respect him. That would fuck me up if it turned out that sure. LeBron, like, you could, like, again, especially with LeBron, you can kind of say all you want to about LeBron, and there's a lot of different things. That dude is a good dude. This is a dude that has been in the public eye for over 20 years, and he has been in it in a space in which people are in the business of him fucking up, of stars fucking up, and he is not had moments. And for me, it would really fuck me up if it came out to be that he was a fucking just terrible motherfucker and a bad dude, and this was a fake thing. But I would want to know. But it would fuck me up.
I come from the opposite end, and maybe it's because I'm a fucked up individual. But like me, I see goody. Shut up. I see goody goodies like that, and I'm like, man, I hope he does a little bit of dirt. You know what I'm saying? I hope, because he can't be good like that all the time. All the time? Like, that's just I don't know. It's suspect. It feels weird. Yeah, like Tom Brady. Like when I saw Tom Brady, the way, I mean, sadly, he got divorced from his wife and all that stuff because he took football too seriously, blah, blah, blah. When I saw Tom Brady and his, like, this perfect life that he had, I was like, yo, like, I feel like this guy has some secrets. You know what I mean? Like, he was like the number one person I thought. I was like, yo, he's going to have some crazy shit in his basement or something like that because his life is too fucking good. You know what I mean? You're married to a model. You got kids. You're the best quarterback in the world, blah, blah, blah. You seem like such a nice guy, all that shit. Nah, dude, there has to be something there. You have to be some but
you don't have but you don't have to be like what I'm talking about. Like, there's a big difference between, hey man, you're not perfect, to fucking Hulk Hogan and OJ. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't think LeBron's had missteps. LeBron ain't just perfect and doesn't try to push off as perfect, or Tom. Like Tom was weekends at Bernie's drunk at that last Super Bowl. Go check that out. He was having to be held up and walked with.
Yeah. Hell yeah. He was never ever that drunk at a Patriots Super Bowl.
Throwing the Super Bowl over boats, over water. Like he was so that doesn't have to be. I'm just talking about if LeBron all of a sudden was fucking Karl Malone and impregnated a 13-year-old, or just ain't this.
What if LeBron did the slap instead of Will Smith? How would you feel about that?
But to me, that doesn't move to the Hogan territory.
No,
like I think that's more to the space you're talking about.
So, like, one of my idols is like Bob Dylan, and Bob Dylan's had some things like in the past. And like the whole like separating like art from the artist like thing, like I don't even like that any. Like I used to like try to have that conversation with people, and I don't even like that because now it's like I simply don't listen to Kanye West anymore, and I'm just never going to listen to
great example
ever again.
That one fucked me up. That's an example.
Like I have a friend who was like just such a diehard Kanye person who was like, he's one of the like creative geniuses of our time or whatever. And he even like when he was going off the deep end, he would constantly be like trying to, still be like, yeah, but like, the music and like this and that, and like, listen to this and do that and do that. And then it was like, oh, like the Nazi stuff was like, he was just like, all right, sorry, dude, you're right. Like it doesn't have to get to that point for me. Like I will write you off faster than that if it's necessary. I just want to know, because I'm fine with just moving on from it. I'm not going to sit around and linger on it and be like, oh, I had this perception of that person, because at the end of the day, I don't know these people, whether or not I respect them or love them or everything they create or write or produce or make. Like at the end of the day, I don't know them. And so like, if it's something that makes me question who my judgment and who I am as a person, like morally and ethically, then I'm just going to move on from it and be like, all right, I'm just done with it.
I ain't gonna lie to
I
you,
have a
Osita.
question.
I ain't gonna lie, Osita. I wish Kanye hid it from me for a couple of more years. Like
I jammed Graduation earlier this week.
I saw you.
Upon waking up, I was just like, you know what I feel like listening to? Kanye West Graduation.
Like I do.
You know
I
what I mean?
feel weird. Like I feel weird.
That's okay.
What R. Kelly did.
That was the pre-Nazi days.
Like I feel weird. No, I feel weird just kind of back. Like I feel TP2 album was one of the greatest albums of all time. Feeling on your booty, feeling on like all of it. Like
roll up in the hood, just stop by to say what's up. Let you know your baby boy ain't doing so tough. Oh man,
no, there can only be one. Like that was the shit for me. But I feel weird and off supporting or feeling like supporting that or whatever with R. Kelly. Like
you know why it feels weird with R. Kelly for me? Because now that I listen back to his music, I'm like, what was he talking about? Who was he talking about? How old was the person that he was talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just where'd the inspiration come from?
Yeah, no, like even one that's closer. Like I've told you, like the Jason Whitlock one was a tough one for me. Like that was just to see that this was a guy like professionally I looked up to, you know, a black dude in the business that got fame from my hometown that I saw all the way, and then he's just a piece of shit. I don't. And it was somebody that I looked up to, and even worse, somebody I've gotten advice from and have talked to, and he's just gone to where he's gone like that. You know, I want to know, like I want to know, you know, who you are. And I'm sure you, Serda, you want to know if Bob Dylan's some fucking fucked up person or whoever it is, that director that you just love and look up to. Like I would want to know, but
I'm sure all the directors are fucked up people, to be completely honest, y'all. Let's just be real. They make some crazy shit.
I mean, like I certainly like have my red flags about Quentin Tarantino.
Oh fuck yeah. Dude likes feet a little too much, you know what I mean?
But no, and also like at the end of the day, like I think there's a lot of nuance to a lot of this stuff. But then there's also like lines that if you're willing to cross them, then I don't fuck with you anymore. Like if that's what, like if you're okay with that and you think that's all right, then you're not somebody that I choose to support. And I have like a pretty clear line drawn in the sand, and that's fine. There's lots of other people that will never do that, and they will continue to do it, or they'll, you know, divide it and say, well, I love this old stuff, or I just don't do it now. I don't support it now, or whatever. That's fine. I've always just been kind of like all or nothing with that kind of stuff, and at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit around and be upset about it or hurt about it because I don't know these people, even if I respect them or like what they do.
Fair. And to be fair, this is going to be a little bit of a hot take, but like I completely understand not wanting to be into Kanye, because we've talked about this. You're half white. You know what I mean? If I were white, I would stay super far away from Kanye. You know what I mean? I'd be like, I don't want anything to do with it.
Bumming him down the road.
Like I would stay the fuck away from that, just because, you know, hey, it's a bad look, bro. It's a bad look, my guy. But yeah, I get it. I'm still gonna jam it though. Probably tonight. Never know.
My pass. We get a little heat check in this bitch though.
I like how you said that. All right, guys. Well, for tonight's Big O's Heat Check, presented by the Nightly Fix, presented by Foolish Club Media, make sure you like and subscribe. We've had a week of the Grim Reaper's been working overtime, y'all. You know, first we had Malcolm Jamal Warner, then we had Ozzy Osbourne, then we had Hulk Hogan, and we also had maybe some of you know about him, Chuck Mangione. He was a famous jazz trumpeter that passed away today as well. If you watch King of the Hill, you definitely seen him on King of the Hill. He was the Megalomart theme song. Da-na-na, ba-ba-na, ba-ba-na-na. You would hear it every single time you walk into Megalomart. So he also passed away. But there was one more death that we have not talked about. And it's going to have to be the death of South Park, because last night on their 27 season opener, those motherfuckers went in. God damn it. They went in. Okay.
Look, yeah, they did.
I watched that shit and I was honestly taken aback. So it starts off with Cartman learning that President Trump has canceled NPR, which, prompted him to melt down. And he felt like everyone was kind of giving up on woke culture. And it turns out that woke culture is declared dead. PC Principal rebranded himself as Power Christian Principal and forces Jesus into the public schools. The parents of the town are completely irate. And although they voted for him, that wasn't what they wanted him to do. So they get up in arms. And so they decide to, start kind of talking shit about President Trump. Trump immediately says that he's going to sue them. Jesus comes back and he's just like, hey, guys, I didn't actually want to be in schools, but I'm dealing with a lawsuit from Trump as well. And part of my lawsuit states that I have to be in schools now. And it was just a crazy thing. So the warning from Jesus is like, okay, so he actually referenced the whole Stephen Colbert and CBS thing while he was like warning them about like Trump's like, litigious power and everything.
By the way, they're CBS, they're Paramount.
They are a Paramount, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. They are. Look, after that episode, I feel like they know what they're doing. I think they're kind of done. They kind of want to hang it up.
Oh no, they got the FU money. They just signed a $1.5 billion contract.
They signed a 5-year contract for 50 more episodes and $1.5 billion.
Yeah, they got FU. This is their first episode since.
They're the most successful property in Comedy Central history. Like they've been able to do whatever they want for a long time.
Did y'all watch the episode though?
I watched clips. I haven't watched the whole.
Yeah, I saw clips.
Okay, so y'all saw the part where they kind of go back to the South Park roots of the devil, in bed with the devil,
Trump's
and stuff
in the
like
bed
that.
With him. Yeah.
Did y'all see the very, very end? Like when so it turns out at the end of this episode, South Park as a city decides to settle the entire lawsuit, and what they have to do is create some positive propaganda for him, and they create this like PSA that has a real life, I guess, like it's non-cartoon, but
it's like a deep fake.
Deep fake Donald Trump running through the desert, butt ass naked with a little tiny peepee, just doing his thing. It was wild.
They set up a real website. That's a real website too.
HeTrumpedUs.com. I definitely visited that because that shit was hilarious. That was crazy, dude. Look, I haven't watched South Park in years, like maybe since like the COVID era. But honestly, if this is the kind of heat they're going to be bringing this season, I'm definitely down for it, man. That was honestly a beautiful season opener. That was kind of one of the best things I've seen on television all summer. I'm here for it. Thought it was great.
Them and Jon Stewart also with the Daily Show. He's there every Monday. They also owned. They're all Paramount under all the Paramount. Same thing. Those two, and Colbert, who is rolling until May, the next 10 months. Boy, they are going to bring it.
Everybody's letting it fly. That's great.
They're going to let it fly. Let it fly. Look, if Shane Gillis can get away with saying things that are inherently funny and kind of like sexist and maybe a little racist, you know what I mean? We should be able to. They should be able to talk a little bit of shit.
I'll
it's
be
all
honest,
tongue in cheek.
It's a really interesting play, because we already know the way that this all fell out was Trump sued them and they settled for $16 million.
Yeah.
Well, right? and so that's already happened, and we know he's been rolling through. He sued Rupert Murdoch in the Wall Street Journal. I'm just saying they've already done.
A huge component of this was the Paramount Skydance merger, which got approved today. So, like, basically, Trump was basically like, "I'm suing you, and I'm going to block your merger." And they were like, "What if we give you $16 million?" And
Jesus
Skydance is
Christ.
also going to pay him like another like 15 million or something like that once a merger.
Him specifically, or like the government?
Yes, like as like part of the settlement.
That's
like so he's
crazy.
going to get like $30 million out of this. And so they agreed to let it go through today. So apparently he's okay with it now because he's getting paid for it, but I'm sure he's unhappy and he's upset now. But they were just trying to get the merger to go through. They don't give a shit. Like they were just like, he was probably like, fire Colbert and I'll let your merger go through. So they fired Colbert, and now the merger's going through even after that episode aired last night.
I'd be shooting so many shots if I were them, just nuclear bombs at that person's ego, just for the fun of it. Just because I'm probably a bad person, I like to see people cry. You know what I mean? It would be great.
It's an interesting play because they've already caved, and you know Trey and them at South Park are not going to slow down. This is, as you just said, this is ratcheted up. Jon Stewart doesn't give a flying fuck. He's going to keep. He had that job. He had a church choir on Monday when it came back.
Yeah,
a church choir singing. What were they saying? Fuck.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. And now Colbert every night gets to just roll through. But it's an interesting play because, well, the ratings are going to be through the roof now. Like, I know it's the last 10 months of Late Show, and it's a feel of Colbert with no handcuffs. The ratings are going to go through the roof. The interest level is going to go through the roof. Like, just think about that. Since that happened, the anticipation, it was one of the most anticipated daily shows in a long time. How do I know? Hell, I recorded it. And I ain't done it. I wanted to see what he's going to say. I recorded Colbert and Jon Stewart on Monday because I felt like I ain't never done that for no late. I felt like I wanted to see
Colbert that sometimes. And The Daily Show, mostly with Jon Stewart. I don't really watch anybody else.
Dude, the ones with Josh Johnson are actually really good. The ones that have been coming out the past couple of days.
But then also, it was a serious deal of this South Park episode, which was really anticipated by a lot of people. So it's an interesting play because I bet you the ratings for all three of those shows were through the roof.
Oh, I'm sure.
We're through the roof just for
they got their merger through now. I don't think they care anymore.
And they're gonna let them go. Because I'm telling you, as this thing gets closer and closer with Steven Colbert, oh man, I feel like he's gonna say whatever. And to be honest with you, it sets up for whatever he's gonna do after this. Like for him to do this, he is going to be, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild.
Country Boy 567 says no holds barred. You ain't lying.
You ain't right. You ain't lying, Country Boy. I don't give a shit. But see, it's a smart thing though. I'm telling you, then they got them ratings shot. I bet for this shit. Yeah. So go ahead and do their thing, man. They motherfuckers is crazy as hell though. I'm telling you, but they ain't gonna be slowed down, boy.
I can't wait. I can't wait. There's so much material because we all know how weird the world gets. You know what I'm saying? Like how weird the world has been the past like several months. And I've just been kind of waiting to see what South Park is gonna do. And I'm sure they have a shit ton of ammo. You know what I mean? Like Trump gives the world a lot of ammo. The world gives the world a lot of ammo. There's a lot of fucking crazy stuff going on right now. So I'm interested to see what their satirical take on the entirety of everything going on is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's that shit's gonna be wild. All right. Let me do my music review if you're just jumping in.
White music review.
Is it white? Ron. I feel like you.
Oh yeah, it was white music. White.
Is it white?
Music,
anyway, Osita, who has tried to challenge me. And now Serda has leaned into it. And Serda's had the best album thus far. But he has tried to. I'm just saying, just telling the truth.
Fired.
It certainly wasn't that blonde on blonde Bob Dylan. But Osita and Serda are picking out albums that I need to listen.
I helped suggest that. And that album.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't choose Blonde on Blonde. He said Bob Dylan. I was like, let's go Blonde on Blonde because that's my favorite Bob Dylan record.
I said Serda picked the best one, but it certainly wasn't that
But I
Blonde
feel
on
like I was
Blonde.
like Bob Dylan, and then Osita was like Blonde on Blonde, which is a great album. I don't know why you're disrespecting it.
I think it's actually all you. I think you came up with Blonde on Blonde and Bob Dylan. I think it was literally all you for those 40 songs. But they're picking albums that are well-known albums that I would have never listened to. And this one was The Strokes. And I will be honest about this. I've seen it. This is like in the top 5 Rolling Stones top 500 albums, and not just in the fives. It's like 113 or something up there. It is one of the top rock albums. Is this it of all time? And one, I will say I can completely understand, knowing that I am that Kings of Leon is my favorite band. I can completely understand why Osita sent me here and had me choose this one. And I can completely see the influence of the Strokes on a band like Kings of Leon. Hell,
well, I'm glad you got that right. I'm glad you got that right, because I was about to get on your ass if you said anything different. Okay, but
no, and in fact, in my research, they were called the Strokes, the Southern Strokes, when they first came out. People kind of called KOL the Southern Strokes when they first came out. I was wondering if I knew any of this shit. Someday, as soon as I heard that, that one I heard. Like you said track 7 last night, and I'm not gonna say I hadn't heard that one, but someday that was immediate. Like that is the number one Stroke song that I had ever heard coming into it. And still is that one that as soon as I heard that come on, that was immediate. Oh, I said, I remember this shit when I was in high school. But I think it is a great album. It is one of those ones where you can't just roll through. I mean, 1 through 8 really is just a burner right on through. And they are so unique with their sound. And like I said, I could hear the emphasis. I doing watching docs and stuff on them. I heard the lead singer from The Killers say they just fucking threw all of their shit away except for Mr. Brightside. All the songs they had written, they fucking just tossed them after they heard the Strokes and said, well, this shit ain't good enough. I think what's my name? What's my man's name? Is it Julian? What's his name?
Yeah, Julian.
Yeah. He has an extremely unique voice. And
he's kind of an asshole.
I've seen that. Extremely
his dad
unique
was
voice.
A famous fashion guy. So
yeah. His dad
they were all like private school kids.
He came for money. Albert came for money. I like Albert. He's probably my favorite band member with that curly ass hair. How about the drummer? Of all people, he was the coolest one in terms of. I mean, he's got a list. I mean, we've got Drew Barrymore on it. We've got Kristen Wiig on it. I mean, the old drummer was rolling through. But yeah, you hear that voice and there's nothing. You never hear anything like it. And if you remember, I said it earlier. It was Jagged Edge, and I know you made that face. Like, what is that? His voice is so unique that it reminds me of Jagged Edge, that if you listen to Jagged Edge, a lot of their songs start to sound the same. Like a lot of their, like if you go listen to that J.E. Heartbreak that's got like Let's Get Married, them motherfuckers
get married.
Them motherfuckers, they just all sound the same. And I know what's the second album they did? Room something, I can't remember the name of it, but the second album was a big complaint that there didn't appear to be any growth from them, that it just sounded like a continuation to their first album. Is This It? But after about, like, I get to Someday and Alone Together, which is probably one of my favorite ones on the album. I'm like, damn, man, all these motherfucking sounds, the vibe, the sound is the same, the songs sound the same, and then when he sings, it starts to sound the absolute same. So that was one of the things that I jotted down, was like, damn, their songs are starting to run into each other. And then when I listened to the second album, it really felt like it felt like that, and it didn't feel like a lot of, I don't even want to be disrespectful and say growth, but it didn't feel like a lot of difference from their first album. But I can completely understand why they get a lot of credit for bands that we started to see like come rolling after them, like the Killers, like Kings of Leon, like, what is it? Is it Atomic Monkey? Arctic Monkey, excuse me. Other bands like that.
Atomic Monkey.
I mean, Atomic, yeah. Arctic Monkey. Hey, man, I'm out here. I can see where they come from. I guess my question would be to you guys, because you may know this more, and I just didn't really get an understanding of it. Why were they deemed? Because I never knew this about the Strokes, but some of the things that I heard on a couple of things that I watched was they had a similar feel or an impact or change that Nirvana did, where they just ushered in a change of how music was. And I have never known the Strokes to be held into that regard. Is that, in your opinion, true? And what made them that?
I think it was like kind of depended on like the circles you were running in at the time. Because like the suburb that I grew up in, like, yes, it was like that. But it's also like I think like that like early 2000s like time frame, like in my opinion, it's like the Strokes and the White Stripes are like the two, like,
that's another
biggest, like, most influential bands of that era.
Yeah.
And they influenced a lot of music after that. And so like every kid like running around in like a white suburb, like that was like what those were like the bands you were listening to at the time.
But I guess what was, but like, what was music before them? Like, it's a clear thing for me. Nirvana, there was the 80s hair bands, there was Poison and all of that, and then boom, that was so different.
After Nirvana, if you look at like the musical timeline of America specifically, after Nirvana came, like, you know, like grunge was definitely a thing. And then if you remember,
Korn.
Yeah, if you remember new metal. So yeah. Slipknot, Korn, Limp Bizkit, Deftones, all those fucking bands were like super hot up until like 2005, 2006. And then the New York scene, they kind of rebelled and went into this, like, with like the Strokes era. They went into this whole thing of like kind of trying to do punk, but not like super punk, but just kind of rock and roll, but not garage. And they just called it indie rock. And that was kind of like the entire vibe. And the reason why they say that the Strokes ushered in like a whole new genre almost, it was because after them, you had bands like Arctic Monkeys, Interpol, Yeah Yeahs, LCD Sound System, like all these, but they were all New York centric. But you have to understand, like, there's really only like two major players, like major players in the music industry in the United States, is East Coast, West Coast, New York, LA. That's it. So for someone to say that they're like the biggest band in New York, in like the New York circle or something like that, automatically makes them one of the biggest bands in the world.
So it was the New York thing.
It was the New York circuit, yeah. Because after them, like there were so many bands that were able to be. You didn't have to be super hard. You didn't have to be tough. You didn't have to play like new metal or grinding music or hard. It was just like, it was fun. It was just all just fun shit,
But
especially at that time.
it just seemed like, but what I'm listening to, like I said, the Nirvana comp was brought up a lot. Like, and I'm hearing you saying they like changed like the way music was played. I'm just saying, but what the fuck is Green Day?
So
like Green Day,
punk.
But
And Green Day's from 90 something.
Yeah, and Green Day was like early.
And maybe
90s.
I'm tripping.
Like
I don't see
Green Day had just been around for a long time. But
Yeah.
I think like, and also there was like, people were kind of like at the time, because it was like a lot of like Limp Bizkit, Korn, stuff like that, and like rap and R&B, and like people were kind of starved for more like of like that indie music kind of feel.
Yeah, just organic
because
rock and
there
roll
was like
than...
there back then it was like it wasn't as accessible as it is now, and so it was like if you were into that kind of stuff, you had to really seek it out. You had to really go try to find it.
I guess.
And the Strokes and the White Stripes were the two bands that like, oh shit, that they're playing this on TRL now. Like they're playing this on MTV now, and they weren't doing it before that.
And there's no mask, no crazy gimmick. The lyrics aren't it was just different. It was just I guess like I said, if you watch that movie, Meet Me in the Bathroom, it kind of explains that documentary. It explains like everything. Like there was like nu metal was king at that time. Like there was not a band, like a rock and roll band technically, that could really fuck with Limp Bizkit, Korn, and Slipknot in like album sales, concert sales. Like that's all there was on the radio. In Houston, we had 94.5 The Buzz, and I would get so tired of listening to 94.5 The Buzz because it was nothing but those types of bands, those nu metal bands. And then as soon as the Strokes came out and you could see them on TV and stuff, like all of a sudden you started hearing them on like top 40. Like you would hear Last Night everywhere. It was all over the fucking radio. Now it wasn't on 94.5 The Buzz because they definitely had their demographic that they were, pitching to, but it was everywhere else, And then after that, then they paved way for bands like Spoon from Austin and TV on the Radio from New York and Grizzly Bear from New York and just all these other bands that were a little bit different, but still playing,
I guess,
sort of rock and roll in the post 2006, before like 2012 era. That was it.
I guess I'm not really explaining it as well. I want to know, and this is purely ignorance of the genre. Like, again, I can say and look and see Poison, Van Halen. I can see that and see how different and how much it sounds when I hear Pearl Jam and Nirvana, and those. I can clearly see that's a different sound. And I know you're saying, you guys are easily saying like Green Day, and I know you don't really love this band, but Foo Fighters, that were out in this time frame before the Strokes, were big bands. I guess for me, I'm not hearing the stark difference of what those bands are compared to, like what makes.
Well, I think they commercialized indie music in a way that a lot of indie bands that were popular but had never reached like the level of success that those bands did, like prior to them. Like indie music,
yeah, exactly, like
was popular, but you had to seek it out. It wasn't something you were going to hear on the radio station. It wasn't something you were going to find on MTV, unless you were like, maybe you catch a music video at like 3 a.m. or something. Like it wasn't something they were going to play when everyone was watching.
I get that
also,
part. What makes why are they different? Why? Because when I said, the best example is when I said, but what about Green Day? Let's act like Green Day wasn't walking around, and you all say, oh, that's punk. So what makes them so different?
Oh,
they were just cool. Yeah. They were just cool. They were literally just cool kids. They were cool kids that made music that sounded cool and in a way that everyone wanted at the time. But the thing was, it's what came right before it that made them so different than anything else. Like when you say Van Halen and you say Who'd you say? You said Van Halen. You said like Alice in
Poison,
Chains and Poison, all that stuff. Like those bands definitely had a specific, almost genre-bending, different sound than anything else. Like I know exactly what they sound like. I know exactly what I'm going to get. The Strokes weren't necessarily like different than anything that spans
All right,
like
now
the time.
that makes it better.
They weren't different than anything that spans the time of of like rock and roll music, like over like maybe like a 40-year period. You've probably heard something that kind of sounds like them. I'm sure Elvis Costello has a song that sounds just like a Stroke song. You know what I mean? But the thing was, because they came off of the end of nu metal, they were just so drastically different than what was going on as far as nu metal and pop were concerned, that they were the launching point for everything else that came after that. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, a little bit more. So musically,
Blink
you're not.
182 helped usher in like a new era of stuff too. Like
Yeah, but what? So like that's easier for me. Like I can hear the difference in Blink 180, not Blink 182. But maybe that's a good one. If I can hear the difference in Linkin Park and Korn and Limp Bizkit, I could hear like that is almost mixing rap and rock, and it's hard. Like I can hear that difference. To me, when I listen to it musically, and I think Osita, maybe you kind of just hinted towards it there. When I like, if I listen to Green Day, and I listen to Foo Fighters, and I listen to the Strokes, and I listen to like musically, it's not like me listening to Green Day and Limp Bizkit. Like I can clearly see that's a different sound of rock. Those didn't seem like they were entirely different sounds, and it just seemed like it was like, all right, they ushered in a new sound, and I'm like, they sound very like they sound like they would be in the same genre. You said it, Blink 182, the Green Day, like when I hear like American Idiot, or when I hear even some of the songs that they had even before that, I don't think like, well, that's a completely different genre or different style of music than when I hear Last Night.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I don't like. I don't. I mean,
And for you, what makes it different? That's what
I think if we're talking about specifically with Blink 182 and Green Day versus the Strokes, I would say it's for Green Day, it's the pedigree because of where they started. They started as like a West Coast, like straight up punk band. Like they're not like punk in the sense of like Minor Threat or Black Flag, where it's like stomp around, angry, like but it was like fun pogo punk is what they would call it. And
stop right there. Let me try that. What's the difference, you two? What's the difference between punk rock and indie rock? Because that's what, right? Are you saying that the Strokes are indie rock and like Green Day's punk rock? What makes those two things different?
I would say what they talk about, because Green Day, if you look at Green Day specifically, most punk bands like have some sort of like anti-establishment thematic imagery that they're trying to put across. Like Green Day has like always been like the system is corrupt and everything's wrong and everything's bad, and I need you to know why you're living a lie. Blink 182, on the other hand, kind of took that sound and then made it more fun, and they were almost like tongue-in-cheek, really kitschy, really just like silly shit.
It was really radio friendly.
Really radio friendly punk rock. The sound of the Strokes, I mean, I get what you're saying because of like the speed of the guitars and stuff like that, and a lot of the tonality of the guitars. Yeah, they do share some crossover.
This is just pure ignorance of trying to.
I think of the Strokes as more like artists, like in a way, like I feel like some of these bands, like there's a difference. Like it's not necessarily like the pace or whatever of the music. It's like if like, and I'm not a musician or anything, but I'm just like, I just feel like they just really like understand it like really like microscopic level. Like they just understand everything that they're doing within a song.
Yeah, I
Like
would agree because Albert Hammond is definitely on some genius shit. And if you listen to the Strokes, like from a musician perspective, this is going to be a weird like offshoot, but they use a lot of Victorian era scales and what they call like modes when they play. So you'll hear like Albert Hammond doing these like little runs on guitar that sound like someone playing a harpsichord, and they did that on purpose because of what they were listening to at the time to get like inspiration. Whereas in punk, like you're playing like 3 chords maximum, and you're playing those 3 chords loud and fast, and that's it. But these guys had like Serda said, they had more artistry to it. There was more of a composition when it came to their music, and like they knew where it was going to lead and how to bring you up and bring you down and bring you forward and stuff like that, rather than just like play it loud and fast and play it in your face, which is what punk bands usually do.
Yeah, I will say the Strokes, their sound didn't sound as there was grittiness to it. It didn't sound like perfectly done. And I would say a little bit of KOL was like that early, but then I don't know. I don't know. I don't get that from the Killers and bands that came from behind them when I hear them, that there's that grittiness that sounds like they just did it in one take. Like the Strokes sound like that.
Everything early is always going to sound super unpolished. Like if you listen to later,
that's a good word. Yeah.
Later Stroke stuff, it definitely sounds like more cleaned up. Like some of the recording techniques that they use in the Strokes, specifically so he could get that grittiness in his voice, he recorded his voice through a microphone, through an amp, and then had that amp like on super gritty high settings and had the gain super high up. So there was like a little bit of breakup in the actual voice. So that you could get that feeling of like being at a live like house show, rather than like, oh, this is perfectly polished, well mixed, all the things are, everything's equalized perfectly, and we cut out the 1000 in the harmonies, so like you don't have any bleed through. Like they wanted a little bit of dirt inside of that. Everything else afterwards, I mean, it was kind of the same formula, but it just gets more and more polished, and then the more polished it gets to the point where it's like that's when you get to commercialize. So like, whereas we're talking about like the Sex Pistols versus Green Day. Sex Pistols is definitely punk. Green Day is definitely punk, but Green Day is a way more polished punk, and Blink-182 is a way more polished punk than Sex Pistols will ever be.
Steve, you got an album for me?